Namaste and welcome. Today I will be reading a response to some online comments. I have chosen not to publish these comments on my channel, although I did read everything that was written. You are free to not agree with what I say. You do not have to like what you see. And you are also free to share your views other places online if you choose. I do not know your name, but I would like to say that your voice is heard, and I will be reading some of your words today. I saw also that you watched and commented on at least 7 of my videos, and since we have already spent so much of our valuable time together, I felt a response coming through that I will read afterwards. The first comment reads, I say what needs to die here is pretense. Sruti is obviously an assumed name. So what will possess one to assume the name of a different nationality? She is not Indian. Obviously not born in India, not part of Indian nation, wearing an Indian name. That is multicultural already. I wonder what are this one's other political affiliations. The hard wash about all other things she is addressing I leave on the shelf. Thanks, but no thanks. If she had the original given name under which she spoke, maybe. But as she lies boldly to my face about that, I am sure there is more lies where this one is coming from. Another comment reads, Mother Teresa was perpetuating the problem, because the one talking about despair is the despair. There is no other despair other than that. She only helped the problem survive. The one who puts herself up as the most compassionate and the most selfless is the problematic one. It is always the same. Simple, selfish people are far less harmful than the unselfish who advertise themselves as such. As there is no self, there respectively is no world, no one to help. So what compassionate approach could be there? Either there is I, the world, and compassionate approach with something to approach, or there isn't. Let alone all this talk of compassion, love, and other romantic nonsense. To be honest, when I read these words, I feel a tightness in my chest, emotional pain in my heart, and also higher physical pain in my body. The feeling these words bring up within me remind me of a time recently when I read my writing at a microphone in front of people that I loved. I will never forget the image of the enlightened and beautiful gray-haired woman sitting at my feet and kicking out at me with anger as I stood there. You have to leave, she yelled over and over. The absolute and enlightened heart of being knows no fear or pain, but the human heart can love or hate, and it can certainly feel pain and heartbreak. I share what I have to say from my direct experience and from my heart. The last words I heard that day before I felt moved to read were, "Please, my son is dying. Please help me die before he dies." I could choose to stay silent about my own experience of feeling God's embrace from within a moment of extreme physical pain that felt like dying alone as the lights of consciousness failed before me. I could choose to not write or speak about the ongoing disability of this illness, as I have chosen to for many years, and that would be okay. God needs no words to carry you. But at some point, in an absolute freedom, we might find ourselves willing to choose to speak love instead of remaining silent out of fear. The big risk of choosing love is the risk of experiencing human heartbreak. When I sat down to respond to your comments, and when I sat down after reading at that microphone, I took an earnest moment to reflect on if speaking my truth is harmful to myself or to others. Is it harmful to use my own direct experience to point back to God's embrace inside of you? Did it hurt anyone to tell you that God loves you and I love you too? What would God like to hear from a young woman with a story of the challenges of a very painful physical condition? Would God prefer to hear that pain has ruined her life and she has become a victim of the world, that she has given up on love and there is no God? This is not the truth. It is not my experience. It is not what I have shared with you, and it is never what I will share with you. I love you and I tell you the truth, that only love is real. God is always with you. Regardless of your circumstances, He is here and loves you always. You are never not free, never not who you are, never not divine, never not loved. Sometimes I simply pray that in times of pain or hate or difficulty, that my own heart stays open, even through the experience of pain or misunderstanding or heartbreak. If my heart were to close, I would risk losing everything. And I can afford to lose everything, but God Himself I can never lose, and I am not afraid of anything except to lose the feeling of God's embrace. Human enlightenment is a worthy pursuit, but not at the expense of God's embrace, not without love. Humanity is a divine expression of God's love, and in a very deep freedom, we may find that we are free to express and ask for the imperfect but intimate heart of human care and compassion. I have a deep love and respect for the pointings towards truth and freedom, but I have come to feel that if we are using these tools without the qualities of love, respect, and compassion, we may accidentally demean or dismiss others. And when we dismiss others, we also dismiss our own selves. In human form, what can happen to someone else can also happen to you. What we do to someone else can also be done to you. Do unto others as you would like to be done to you. God's true face never turns from anyone. He does not cause us malicious pain, and He does not hate. The absoluteness of His being has incarnated temporarily into human form, and God's love is full of compassion for our experience. Within this duality of light and dark, our satsang is not just on the cushion and not just in words at a microphone. It is to see God's true face of love and care within all circumstances of our living. It is true what you say that for inner freedom, we may come to no I, no one, no thing. But true nothing is not a dead, empty nothing. We are not personally worthless, and a sense of I and the personality will always remain. For this reason, when you and I speak together, I do not call you by the impersonal title of one. I show love and respect by addressing you by your human name. When we love someone truly, we do not point out their flaws, and we do not try to change or fix what we see as lacking. We see the best within them. We see God's light within them, and love as God loves, healed or unhealed, perfect or imperfect, ego or no ego. This is the love from the root of being, the true healing. This is the one that cannot leave you. Freedom is not a competition, not a comparison, not an achievement, and not meant to use wisdom to control the behavior of others. The freedom of a true nothingness is the full vastness of God's ocean of love within. And in love, there are many different ways of finding God and experiencing freedom. There will always be a human imperfection. The imperfections make us special and beautiful And we may find that in freedom, we feel less threatened by others and are more free ourselves to express our own uniqueness. I have been expressing to you that in a moment of extreme pain, I saw that I could never be removed from my own self, or from God, or from my own divinity. And this is what the name Sruti really means. I have not called myself your guru, but I see that God Himself, herself, is the real guru. And I see God in you and in myself and all things. I see God in your eyes. And when I first saw Ramana Maharshi's eyes, I knew I saw the source of God's love within them and that he was a true guru. Ramana once said that all thoughts may come and go, like the various notes in music, but the I remains constant, like the Shruti note, a note that underlies and blends with the other notes. Under this name, I am singing you a song of extraordinary love that survives pain and fear and hate and even death. It survived a moment of terrible pain in which each layer of consciousness failed before me, in which I saw that even consciousness could leave me. Somehow, beyond doubt or proof or understanding, I am always still here. And here is God, who is somehow also me, but also always a bit beyond me. So I feel that I sing a song that never fails. This song is about how I am always with the heart of God, as you are also. And from here I am singing my heart song back to you. I sing even if I feel pain or fear, because I see that we are not truly harmed by these things, as we rest first as God's presence inside. We are carried through all of our time here, including the times of pain and hardship. We are safe to let go of needing to understand or know anything. It might be nice to know that it is common in the spiritual communities I have loved and lived in to take a new name. I am drawn to the name and to living in these communities because within ongoing physical pain, I find that love itself is what is truly healing. In great pain, I lose my ordinary hearing and find that I am only listening for love and long for the feeling of care and compassion. But the more I share, the more I am finding that I am not affiliated with any community, any practice, or any religion. I am only affiliated with my own heart song. I look inside for my guidance and recommend you do this also, because no teacher or guru can assume the role of God. So you need not believe anything I am saying. But if even your guru disappears when consciousness falls, and the idea of God vanishes, and you cannot find yourself, and your whole life has failed before you. You stay as what cannot leave. You are the one who already knows the loss of all of these things. Look inside first and find that you are not lost and you are not a thing. Look for guidance from the one who never leaves you. This one lives within the heart of all of life, and so all of life is also the teacher, and God's existence is equal within all beings. You will find in my videos and in my book that this is also how I have pointed to God within you. In plain and simple words, the point of what I am saying is that all I have ever found is that God is always here. He never leaves you. God loves you unconditionally, as you are now, always now. He is here right now. God's footsteps move with gentleness and ease. God embraces imperfection, and in your darkest hour, His face never turns. He simply can never leave. It means you are not wrong, not flawed, never unhealed, never unloved. Because of this, I do not tell people what to do or how to be. I say, simply stay as what cannot leave you, because who you are is already whole and loved and free. Find me a name that points to the heart of being and is free of culture and religion and guru. Find me a name that means I love God and see God in everyone and everything, and that I feel God's presence in my own self and in you, and you are all I see. Find me a name that means heart song, and I will take that name and use it to tell you that God always loves you. No matter what, no matter who you are or what happens to you. Thank God that's all this means, and that I love to say it to you over and over again in different words and different metaphors and different ways. I did not consciously seek transcendence, and I rarely use the word ego, but I saw God by accident on a bathroom floor and found He is here inside as all you are and all there is. The highest truth and freedom is not different than unconditional love. Sharing my song is a form of service and ministry and comes from love and courage, even if it's not always done so gracefully and not always received with praise. I do not know to whom I am singing, but more deeply I live always without knowing, but from within the direct certainty of feeling God's inner embrace. What I do know is that these are loving songs and praises. So strong is this love that even if you and I should find ourselves in disagreement, exchange unkind words, cause each other harm, or experience great pain, we can somehow still rest first with a deeper love and find respect for both ourselves and others. I have come to see that even in a great awakening, if we dismiss our experiences as having no value, and if we dismiss our suffering as no consequence, we risk losing the intimacy of human love, the humility and vulnerability of the human form, and the warmth of the great heart of our shared compassion. You are right. No one needs to be selfless in order to serve others. So with my remaining time on earth, my great personal desire is to share my experience of finding God in times of darkness and tell you only that God loves you. I would like to meet you as you are, healed or unhealed, because I can feel God's presence in our meeting. You are right. No one needs to focus on despair, but we also need not dismiss the darker aspects of life that contain great gifts of love and compassion. We do not have full control over what happens in this life, and every human being has experienced some form of pain and hardship. When this happens, we need not blame ourselves or others. We can fall back into God's embrace, where true strength, true love, and true compassion come from. This is how I would like to close our exchange, from within God's embrace. I can sense that if I told you that I loved you, that you might not believe me, and certainly you are free to not believe me and to not love me in return. When we do not know what to believe, we can simply choose the vibration of love over fear, ease over dis-ease. And in parting, I will say that God loves both of us with total equality. As I've said, I have no spiritual affiliation and was not raised with a religion, but I have enormous love and respect for many traditions, and today these words come to my mind. Forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. God bless you, and peace be with you.